After taking care of each of their first round matchups in 6 games, the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards now face off in the Eastern Conference semis. Despite both teams wrapping up their matchups on Friday, this is the first second round series that will begin. These teams faced off against each other 4 times during the regular season, with Washington taking 3 games from Boston. But we've seen in this postseason not to put too much weight into the regular season. Although the Boston Celtics were able to finish the Chicago Bulls in 6 games, just as Washington did Atlanta, they were not won in the same way. Had Rajon Rondo not gotten injured, it's very possible that I'll be talking about Chicago Bulls instead of the Boston Celtics here. In the 2 games that Rajon Rondo played against Boston, they looked like they were going to run away with this series. But Boston caught a break when it was revealed that Rondo had a thumb injury and was going to miss the rest of the series. Boston then ripped off 4 straight wins and won the series. Now they have a much tougher opponent in the Washington Wizards. Boston lost the season series despite limiting John Wall to less than 18 points and under 38% shooting from the field. Washington was just too much for Boston during the regular season. Part of the reason was Bradley Beal, who led Washington in scoring during the season series. But luckily for Boston, Avery Bradley only played in 2 of those games, with Boston winning 1 of them. Will Bradley's presence be enough? The Washington Wizards are back in the second round of the playoffs for the 3rd time in the last 3 seasons that they've been in the playoffs. Only difference is this year, they didn't upset anyone to get there. If we've learned anything from this postseason from Washington, it's that John Wall is incredible. He was too much for Atlanta, and he likely will be too much for Boston as well. Yes, Boston is a very good defensive team, and they have plenty of players like Avery Bradley, Marcus Smart, and Jay Crowder to throw at them. But if they struggle that much with Rajon Rondo, how well do you think they'll fare with a young, healthy John Wall, coming off the best season and playoff series of his career? Probably not too well. What makes things even better for Washington is that John Wall struggled in this series. Can you really see that happening again? The X factors that I have chosen for this series are Otto Porter Jr. and Avery Bradley. I've chosen Avery Bradley just like in the series against Chicago. He didn't play every game. I mentioned before that in one of the games that Avery Bradley played in, Boston actually won. And also, like I mentioned before, he will likely be guarding John Wall and Bradley Beal a lot. So his presence will be key if Boston wants to win this series. My selection of Otto Porter is simple. He played really well against Boston this season. It's even possible that Brad Stevens will try to hide Isaiah Thomas on Otto Porter because he doesn't want to risk getting torched by either John Wall or Bradley Beal. If that happens, Otto Porter will have it easier than ever to score. Not only has Washington dominated this matchup, but in spite of Boston's better record, Washington is just a better team in almost every position. I had already expected Washington to win this series, but after watching Boston's performance against Chicago, I have no doubt that they'll take it. I can see Washington winning this in 5, but I'll be generous and say that this series goes to 6 games. Either way, John Wall makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So there you have it, the first true upset in the playoffs. Do you guys agree? Let me know down in the comments, as I always like to say. And please rate, share, and subscribe so you guys can see what's coming next.